We have sound now. I think we have sound now. It wasn't my mute button. I didn't have my mic on. I do now. I do now. We have sound now. Thank you for telling me. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm just putting up, we have about another minute before Tracy shares this over into the group. And I'm just going to get my Telegram link up there in case you want to follow along on my Telegram to be alerted when we go live. Okay. All right. We have just a couple minutes, a couple seconds left before she shares this over. We're going to be painting on this little cast iron. I don't know. It's one of those little pans, you know, like one of those little flat pans. So where I got this from, and I was going through my stash because I've vowed to start using some of my stash because it is starting to overrun the place, and I think that I have to start using some of it and making some things and painting on the things that I have. So this is from my stash, and I got this at a thrift store. So we're just going to do a little painting here on the inside of it. And while you're all coming on here, I'm going to just put a coat of white in here just to have something to paint on. But these are like little cast iron. It was a little cast iron pan that I found at a thrift, our local thrift shop. And I mean, you can paint on anything, really. If it'll take paint, paint it. I mean, it doesn't always have to be a canvas, or, you know, it can be any surface you want to paint on. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that tonight. Hi, Miss Tracy. So we're here until 9:15. So I'm just going to be painting that flat surface on the inside here. So I'm just getting a coat of white on here. Not very exciting, but this is what we're doing to get it prepped. Hi, Terry. So do you guys ever do that? Find something at the thrift store and decide you're going to paint something pretty on it? It's fun to do that. You can get some pretty decently priced things and use them as surfaces. Containers, you know, canisters. I've done lots of canisters in my time. All right, I think that's good enough. We'll just dry that fast. You donate. You should go back and see if they're there, and maybe you can find them and buy them back, Sue. You missed it by that much. How long ago did you donate them? My apologies, Sue. I should have done this project sooner. So we're just getting this dry. Perfect, Paula. Yeah, it's a great place to find your surfaces. You don't want to overcook it because this is metal and you don't want it to bubble up. Oh, it's just, I just put one coat of white paint on so far, Paula. Nothing crazy yet. Nothing crazy yet. You didn't miss much. You didn't miss much. So I think I'm going to go in now with a coat of buttermilk. And that's going to be our background color. So we'll get all of this little prep done. What are you saying to me? Can you use DecoArt paint on them? Oh yeah, absolutely. Are they ceramic canisters, Terry? Well, I'm sure I see these at the thrift stop. Sure. Oh my God, I can't talk tonight. Thrift store all the time. These little cast iron. And I mean, you could even do it on, you find cast iron pans sometimes. And I know some people will go crazy when I say that I paint on good cast iron frying pans, but I do sometimes. They're like porcelain. Well, you can, as long as you prep them well with some gesso, or something that's going to give it a bit of a tooth for your paint to stick to. Otherwise it will peel right off. But you've watched me paint on glass before. If you remember, I did the scarecrow on the glass bottle, and I just prepped mine with white paint, a good thick white paint, a couple of coats, and let it dry really well, and it worked fine. And then you can just seal them really well. No, I didn't use an all-purpose sealer. No, I just put plain old white paint on there, Paula. I'm just drying that, and I'm going to put another coat on here. That metal heats up fast. It heats up. All right, we're going to put another quick coat on here, and then we're going to start doing some stuff. Watching all the boring stuff, getting base coating on here. But I didn't put it on before because I wanted you to see what I was doing and how I did it. In case you find one of these little treasures, you'll know what I did. It's really nothing too scary anyway. I have also painted on cast iron frying pans and hung them in my kitchen, but I've painted on the back side, and then when you hang them, you see your painting on this side. Now you can hang this one like this too. It's no big deal, but I have painted on the bottom sides and then hung them up before too. You can find all kinds of old cast iron, and sometimes they're way too rusty to use, and you're not sure where they've been. But I mean, now again, don't come for me when I say this, but I usually will take them, clean them up a bit, and then spray them with a flat black Tremclad, and then paint on them. All right, we'll dry this and I'll clean my brush out while that's doing that. All right. Now I'm going to show you what we're painting here in a second, just so you can get an idea of where we're headed with this whole thing, because I do have one done. So I'll just show you so that you can kind of see what we're doing. All right, so this is one that I painted, and we're going to try and replicate this one. So this is what we're doing. So I'm at this point, I'm attempting to do the wood slats in behind my chicken, and then we're going to paint the chicken. So no, I haven't checked the mail yet. I had no time today. I'll check it tomorrow, Terry. I was out and about, but I had so many things to do that I bypassed the post office. Well, let me just get this under here. I just kind of want to mark where those little lines are. Oh my Lord. Get in there. There we go. I'm all thumbs tonight. All thumbs, my friends. All right, so let's just get that in there. And all I want to do is just kind of put a little guideline here. I want to know how far apart to do these. And I think I'll do one here. I think that's pretty good. I just kind of need to see where they're at. All right, so let me just take my trusty pencil and I'll just make these a little bit darker so I can see them. That one got a little off kilter, but that's all right. So then we're going to do our shading on either side of those. Ooh, that one's crookedy, isn't it? Let's fix it up. Got a crooked eye. All right, good enough. So we're going to use a little bit of burnt umber and a little bit of black. And burnt umber and black. Let's get our shading started. So I'm going to do like a back-to-back float on all of these lines, and then put some around the outer edge as well. So that's where we're going with that. So we're just going to grab some of that burnt umber, and we'll start by going on this bottom edge. We just want to rustic this up a little bit and, you know, make it look like nice old slat board in behind our chicken. And this, you know, you're not going to see a whole lot of this, but it will be peeking out on the sides. So, I mean, I'm just going to go straight across the whole thing, just so we have a consecutive kind of line there. And it doesn't matter, you know, like it's a little wider there than in some places, you know, it's a little more narrow. You can, you know, you don't want to be perfect. It's a rustic painting, so we can kind of have some give there. I just got to watch my time here. Hopefully I have enough time to paint this little guy. All right, so let's dry that. I will try and put a line drawing up for it on my Shopify. If you're in my membership group, I will be posting it for free. Members will get this little line drawing for free if they want to paint one, and I will add a digital download to my Shopify store as well. All right, so I'm going to flip it upside down, and then we'll go on the other side of that line. So this is what I'm talking about, a back-to-back sort of float here. And I should speed up the process because it shouldn't be so particular. Alrighty. So we're just going along this other side, then we'll dry that quick, and then I'll go around the outer edge as well. But actually, while that's drying, we can add a little bit of black. I got it at the thrift store, believe it or not, Miss Perry. So I'm just adding a bit of black to there as well, just to dirty that up even more. So once it's dry, you can go over it with a little smidgen of black, just to darken that down a bit. And it's, you know, I watered down the black because I don't want it to be too overpowering. I just want to get a little bit of that black on there. And then we'll dry that, and I'll do that on the other side. It's one of those little cast iron fry pans, yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Hello, Shelly. And I think I paid $6 for the two of them. It was not you know, crazy expensive. Good old thrift store find. Hi, Kathy. So we'll just put a little black on this side. Now it's a bit of a challenge to paint inside something like this. The handle gets in the way a bit, but you have to just persevere and get that on in there. All right, so we'll dry this, and then we'll go around our outer edge just to rustic that up a little bit. So we'll get some of that brown on our brush, and then we'll just go around that outer edge. Just kind of blends it all into there so it's not so bright on the edges. And then we can add some lettering, because it kind of says farm fresh in behind my chicken here on the first two rungs. All right, we're ready for letters. Now, I'm not the best letterer, and I'm not going to pretend that I am, but we're gonna freehand paint those somehow, some way. We're doing it. All righty. And I'm literally just going to take my pencil, and I'm just going to write those right on here. So let's do that with our pencil, because I was going to put my line drawing over here, but I think this top one got a little bit smaller than my first. So that's okay. We're just going to draw them on here and hope that they're center enough. And I mean, really, it doesn't have to be perfect, because, you know, it would be just like, you know, if the farmer was selling eggs at the end of the road, he would just write it on there like that, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect, not unless you want it to be. You can do you. I think I'm going to use a little bit of this brownish paint, this burnt umber, for this one, and see how that goes. So I just have my liner brush, and we'll just line those in here. And you can see already that again, it's not going to be perfect, ladies. Hand lettering is hard, and like I said, I'm not the greatest at it. It takes a lot of practice to learn. I watch all these ladies online, and they have the most beautiful hand lettering, and I'm just not that girl. I'm not that girl. I would love to be that girl, but I'm not that girl. it. Oh, I got all wiggly on this one too. See, it's hard too because you don't really have your hand flat. It's on the edge of this little pan. So I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to put a chicken over it anyway, you know, putting a chicken on top of it. So it's just going to be in the background. Okay. So now we have our basic letters on here. Try that quick. Oh, it looks okay. It looks okay. So then I'm going to take a bit of this black. I think I just got paint on my glasses. A hot mess tonight. So I'm going to just kind of go along the edge of my letters and just do a second sort of line on here just to spruce them up a bit if if that's at all possible. We'll see. That's okay, Laura. You always know there's a replay happening somewhere. I don't even know if that's the right way to go. I really want this lettering to end because it's just not my favorite thing to do. Just let it end. I just want to paint a chicken. That's all I want to do. I want to paint a chicken. All right. Let's get this hot mess over with, eh? All right, good enough. Good enough. Okay. Well, thank you, Dolores. That's probably a stretch saying that they look amazing, but it's okay. We're gonna put chicken over top of it anyway. Another thing I want to do is put some nail dots on my boards too, but I'll do that after we get our chicken in place. So let's get crack-a-lackin' with the chicken. See, our chicken's going to cover up some of those ugly letters, so I'm cool with that. That makes me happy almost, you know? Yes, I'm in Canada, Cheryl. All right, so let's get this. I'm going to cut this down a little bit because it's hard to get that big piece of paper under there. Let's see. Gotta get my stylus here to get this edge up. There we go. All right, let's transfer a little chicken. There we go. Get my little stylus here. So we got all of our outline of our chicken here to get on. Its tail feathers up here. Can't remember if I did that part. I probably did. And get his beak on there. And his little waddle. That's what you call it. That's what we're calling it anyways. It is today. We'll put his eye on in a second. Let me just see if I can see it. Oh, perfect. Okay. So let's get some red out here to do his wattle in the little thingy on the top of his head. All right, so I'm going to use some gray to go under my red so I don't have to put as many coats. Now, I need to pick up the pace here because we're getting down to the wire. 20 minutes. Okay. So let's put a little coat of gray under that red so it pops a little bit better. If you don't already know that little trick, it works great. See, look at those ugly letters disappear right now. This makes me happy. I'm painting over some of them anyway. So they'll just kind of be peeking out in behind there, which is probably a godsend because they don't look that great. They're not that great. They're very prim looking, that's for sure. Okay. And I think I'll base his beak with some marigold, and then we'll work on our chicken, his body and all of that business. Let's get his beak filled in, get a coat on there. Okay, so let's dry that and we'll get some red on there. Let's get another coat of yellow while I still have yellow on my brush, and then we'll flip over to the red. All right, so we'll get some red over top of our gray here. So this helps to not have to put so many coats on, and our red will actually be nice and bright with that gray under there. Because the struggle is real with reds sometimes. Now I think for my chicken, for the base of him, on the first one I put some gray as an undertone on my chicken, and I think this time I'm going to put some desert sand on the back side of this and then bring my white feathers in. So we'll see how if it looks any different, any better, any worse. We'll try this base color here. So we're just going to fill our whole chicken in with rooster chicken. We don't name, what is it? Is it a rooster? Could be. It's, you know, of the poultry family. So once we get this guy based in, you'll be able to see the shape of him a little better. So we don't have that background messing with our brain. Cover that up. Yes, the gray works great, Susan. I've even used green under reds too, and it works well. You can see these starting to take shape now that we're getting his body based in. So over here, the feathers kind of, you know, kind of flow off the ends. So I'm just going to do exactly that sort of thing here. I'm just going to kind of flick that color over here because we're going to be putting white over top of this and doing exactly that, just kind of flicking those tail feathers over the edge. We just want to kind of flick those off to the edge there. Get the rest of this. How are we for time? We got 15 minutes. Can she do it? It's always like beat the clock. All right, I think that's good. We'll dry that fast and we'll get another little bit on there. But you see, it's kind of a fun little surface and project to do on this little pan. All right, you can still sort of see background under there, so I'm just going to put another little bit on here. And then we'll start pulling in some white feathers over top of that. Yes, you might have to. My daughter laughs at me all the time because she's like, I have roosters in my kitchen, and I don't know, she sends me memes all the time about grannies have rooster themed kitchens. I am a granny, you know? It's okay. All right, so let's dry this. And I want to shade the top, that red part, with some black. So I'm just going to grab some of that on my brush. And we're going to go along this bottom edge here. Get a little shade in there. And then also his wattle here. I want to put a little bit of black on there. Okay. Yeah, see, it's not a bad. I like my roosters. They're staying. I don't care what she says. I like them. All right, so a little bit of burnt umber, and we're just going to shade right along the back side of his beak there. And then where that little separation is in the beak. I don't know if you guys can see that real well, but I can probably zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. There you go. You can see I just kind of put a little brown on there. And then I'm going to put a little white highlight on that top edge of his beak. And then we're going to start pulling in some feathers. We got 10, 11 minutes left. I'm just putting a little white highlight on his beak at the top. And I mean, you can add a little white up there if you want to too, just as a highlight. I'm just going to put a little thin or watered down kind of version of white in there. You still have to put his eye in, but okay. So as for feathers, oh, hot in this house. We had like record highs today. It was like terrible hot here, and it's supposed to be like that all week. So I'm just going to grab some white on my round brush. And I'm almost feeling like I should be having a smaller round brush, but let's start pulling some of that white in here. And we're going to go in the direction of the body here. We'll bring some down here. And I'm just trying to get direction right this minute. So I'm not filling it all in just yet. I'm just getting a directional. So it's not very bright right this minute. I'm going to bring these down like this, and then his tail feathers are going to kind of flip over his body a bit. We'll go to about here. And then we'll come back and we'll start filling in a little bit more. Whoops, excuse me. Got a spit wash there. And then we're just going to keep adding a bit more and a bit more. And you can bring some off the edge of his head here, off the edge of the rooster himself. Now I'm going to dry this here in a second because I don't want it to start looking really, I want to have that texture in there, so I don't want to completely fill it in with the white. We'll just dry it a smidge. You turned your heat on? Oh my goodness. I've had the AC just pumping in here, and it's actually like struggling to keep up. It's just starting to cool down now that I shouldn't even say cool down. It's still warm outside. But we're supposed to get brutal temperatures all week long. I'm over it already. I'm not a fan. I'll stay right in the house. All right, so we're just getting that all sort of in there. So there we have that. And now we're just going to now do his tail feathers and kind of flip them over this side. All right, so let's start here at and we're going to start getting some direction here on the tail feathers. And we're just getting our direction in place. So you see where we're going to flip over here, kind of over his body a little bit, like so. So now we have the direction kind of, we know where we're going now. So I'm just going to start filling in some more. You can flick some off the edge. All right, so let's dry that. I think I like the desert sand under there. I do. All right, so we're down to 6 minutes and we're almost done our little guy here, and I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be all right. So I'm going to bring in some more white. Get those little guys filled in. But I think you get the idea of how to paint his feathers. And I'm going to kind of leave that little spot right there. I'm trying very hard not to grab that with my brush because it kind of shows that little division in between the direction of those two sections of feathers. So by base coating it with a darker color and just having it kind of peek out in behind there works well. Just a little bit of a contrast to your whites, all your white feathers. All right, and I'm going to stop, I think, right now because I don't want to overwork it to the point where we can't see the division anymore. All right, so let's just fix that up a bit there. All right, so let's dry this guy. We're going to put his eye on, and then we're going to put a few little sprigs down here, like a little nest of sorts. So I do have the eye on the line drawing, but I'm just going to use my pencil, but it is on the line drawing. So when, you know, if you decide to get the line drawing or my members decide to paint this, it will be on the line drawing. So we're just going to fill that in with a little bit of black. And then we're just going to highlight with a bit of white. I got the little skillet at the thrift store. You shake your tail feathers, Miss Kim. You don't want to be seeing me shake mine. It scares small children, I swear. All right. So I'm just taking a bit of white on my liner and I'm just going to go around the outer edge of that eye. Always seems like a good idea until you do it. All right, and then we'll put a little dot in here. So there's his eye, but I think I want to lighten up on that white a little bit. Got a little thick in here. It's hard to get in that little spot there. And I'm being picky right now just because. All right, that'll have to do. Anyways, he has an eye now. So as for thank you for sprinkling. Okay, so I'm gonna back up again a little bit because I'm having a little trouble keeping inside that camera shot there. So what we're gonna do now, we have a couple minutes left. So really what we're doing is we're putting this little nesty sort of thing down here. And I'm gonna use a little bit of, I think I used some burnt umber and some of this desert sand. Let's just use those two colors. So we'll go into our burnt umber and we'll get some of these little sprigs started. And these are just, you know, I'm just randomly doing these. I'm going to get these in place so that we can get some leaves on them. And then we'll bring some down here like so. And then I'm going to put some leaves on these little sprigs. I'm watching my time. We're almost there. We're almost there, ladies. So that's basically what I did there. And then I'm going to take some of that desert sand, and then you can pull some of those in there too. And I think our time is up. But I mean, you could use any color you want down here for your nest. You could throw in a little bit of marigold in there. I will finish these little leaves over here. And I'll do that off camera, but that's where we went. I'll show you this. Kind of, let's pull back, and then I got to get out of here because I'm encroaching on someone else's time. So here's the two of them sort of together. All right, I hope you enjoyed, everybody. And thank you for joining me for my Craft Around the Clock segment. And I will get this up as a line drawing for you in my Shopify store, or if you're a member of my painting group, it will be posted.